Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome in, you guys. You know, coming off a sweep of the Phillies where the Mets just gained 3 games on them in the division, as great as the vibes were with Nolan McLean having the unbelievable start that he did last night, it feels almost equally as bad based on how the Mets just played tonight against the Marlins. That was ugly. That was a slop fest almost from the beginning. The Mets committing 3 errors that go on to become 5 unearned runs against the third place. But let's be honest, come on. The Marlins, come on. Like, this is a lower division team, and the Mets got outplayed by them. I mean, my goodness, the Marlins, we knew that they like to swing and put the ball in play. We saw, I mean, how many bunt attempts from the Marlins today? Probably more in this game alone from the Marlins than we have seen the entire season combined from the opposition. And they made the Mets pay. They made them pay death by 1,000 paper cuts. They put the ball in play, and the Mets tripped all over themselves. It began in the first inning where they are able to get a run, and then in the third, Pete Alonso on the feed to Clay Holmes. That should have been the final out of the inning, and instead Clay Holmes just outright drops that ball and doesn't have the presence of mind to go pounce on it, and a run comes around to score. Another base hit to give the Marlins a 4-2 lead, and then it happens again there in the 7th after it's a tie ball game again at 4-4, and the Mets with the fielding error from Pete Alonso as he turns to try and start the double play, as you can see on your screen right here, and it ends up biting the Mets in the behind. And then again later, Nimmo on a ball in the left field, I mean, just gets totally turned around on. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. Brandon Nimmo just got fooled by that ball and the speed that it was coming at him in left field. Gets turned around, run comes around to score to give the Marlins the lead, and they were off and running from there. 2 separate plays at the plate, despite the Mets infield being in. They're able to beat it out just barely. I mean, man, the Marlins just took it to the Mets tonight. This was not a good game at all. Guys, what's up? I'm Tony Metro. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. Go ahead, leave this video a like right now. Appreciate that very much. You could also follow me on all the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to those are in the description below. Normally, we'll do our Discord calls. Unfortunately, headphones are not working for me today, so I can't take calls today, but the fix is on the way. We should be back and ready to roll with those tomorrow and through the weekend. And man, the Mets have some work to make up now over this weekend series against the Marlins, as they are just downright outplayed by them here in the opener on a night where the Phillies get 4 home runs from Kyle Schwarber and absolutely dismantle the Atlanta Braves, something like 18-4. I don't even know the final score because who even cares at that point. The Braves lay down there for the Phillies, and the Mets drop another game in the standings to Philadelphia after just having gained 3 on them over that past series. But let's go to the chat. Madeleine Schmidt, awful. I mean, that is just the perfect word to describe it. That was an awful game from the Mets. I thought after Pete Alonso's 2-run homer, maybe they had gotten all those kind of nerves out. And I say nerves because as we heard the broadcast reference a lot tonight on SMY, there's always the chance for there to be that letdown series where the crowd is not as juiced, and probably the players don't have as much energy for a series against the Marlins coming off of one as big as they just did against Philadelphia. And that is how these first couple innings felt until Pete Alonso had that 2-run homer in the left center field to tie this game. And I thought they were going to go on and win this one. I thought that it was just a bad mistake by Holmes, another pretty poor start, which we're going to get into here. But the Mets just continued to show their warts there in the 7th inning, and they're unable to come back in this one. Totally agree with you, Madeleine. Absol, 5 unearned runs on 3 errors for the Mets. Unacceptable, playing especially coming off a good series with the Phillies. I mean, just really inexplicable. The errors were all just ridiculous errors, too. You have Clay Holmes dropping that ball that's just right in his mitt. Then you have Pete trying to turn 2 there instead of just taking the sure out at first. Nimmo, I don't even know what he's doing out there in left field, but just gets completely turned around. Fortunate that ball didn't get past him and roll all the way to the wall. You have a pass ball from Hayden Sanger that added 2 runners into scoring position there. 2 plays at the plate that the Mets are just a fraction of a second late on, and the runs come home to score for the Marlins. Just not a good game for the Mets whatsoever. Really ugly. I'm with you, Ab. So Ray says, Tony, if they had put Philly jerseys on, those fish, they might have shown up. I mean, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. We have the problem with the Braves that we can't beat. The Phillies have the problem with us, but we also have this problem with the Marlins. I don't get it. This is like a franchise historical thing for the Mets and the Marlins going all the way back to 07-08. Of course, as we know, the Marlins just give this franchise fits, and I don't understand it. But man, you even perfectly exemplified by the ridiculous diving catch by Tim Hill, who came in as a defensive replacement to Rob Cedric Mullins. Now, at that point, the game's already 7-4, but even as it's flying through the air, I'm like, he's catching that. And then I'm thinking, wait, maybe he's not. That's pretty shallow. And he lays out and makes a brilliant catch. The Marlins, man, just come and play World Series type of baseball against the Mets for as long as I have been watching this team. So very, very frustrating. Red Bear Fox, ugly game, but it happens to every team. Just crappy because of just coming off of the Phillies series. Exactly. And the Phillies get back into the good graces of their fans. They start down 3-0 in the first inning as the Braves are bombing Aaron Nola. They are getting booed in their home park, only for them to go on a barrage. I think they score something like 15 unanswered runs. They eventually win that one in a landslide, as we know. 4 homers from Schwarber, and it feels like the good vibes are now back for the Phillies when it was looking like it was all starting to go down the toilet for them. Definitely frustrating. It happens to every team. Now, how do the Mets respond the rest of this weekend? They got 3 more with the with the Marlins. No reason they should not go win the rest of this series. And if that is the case, all will be forgiven from today. The Mets do have to win the final 3 this weekend, though. You don't want to settle for a split against the Marlins, especially after an ugly loss like they had here tonight. Earl D, oh, what happened, man? You took away your message. Come on, bro. Ray says bullpen and defense, no showed. I mean, questionable pitching from the bullpen. You go to Ryan Stanek in the 6th, walks the first 2 batters. Just throw your fastball, Stanek. Please, you cannot locate any of your other pitches. He walks the first 2. Fortunate to get a double play because the Marlins hitter wasn't able to lay down a bunt on 2 separate attempts. And then gets a rocket of a line drive for the final out off the bat of Xavier Edwards. Okay, he tight ropes out of it. Great news. Then they go to Gregory Soto in the 7th, leadoff base hit. That's when Alonso had the error. Then it ends up becoming it was still first and second at that point. The error from Nimmo, the passed ball. It's just an ugly, ugly loss for the Mets for sure. But yeah, the bullpen did not do its job. Neither did the defense. And let's be honest, like the lineup was okay. You got the 2-run double from Nimmo to give them the lead in the 2nd inning there, but other than that, Pete Alonso's 2-run homer, and then the Mets really didn't do a whole lot. Quiet nights for Mark Vientos. Brett Beatty did get a base hit in that final one. Cedric Mullins did put some good wood on the ball in 2 of his at-bats, but nothing to show for it. Really good day, of course, for Francisco Lindor, 3-hit performance, but overall, every facet of this team really just could have left a little bit to be desired, for sure. And the person that I'm going to most key in on right now is Clay Holmes, because guys, I'm sorry, but with the impending debut for Jonah Tong tomorrow, and with Brandon Sproat potentially ready for the big leagues, I don't see how you continue to start Clay Holmes. I just don't see how you can continue to give Holmes starts. He is out of gas. He is laboring just to get through 5 innings. And we're going to touch on him more later. But first, I want to go back to the chat, make sure I'm checking in with all you guys and how you are feeling. Make sure you leave this video a like. Go ahead, do that if you have not done that already. Appreciate you guys very much. Absol Juan Soto makes an average of $31 million, more than Kyle Schwarber. Let that sink in. Hey, how about the Mets sign Kyle Schwarber this offseason? Then we can have both. That sounds like a plan to me. Ray says Gregory is becoming alarming. Not a great inning for Soto, but let's be fair. The entire complexion of the 7th inning changes if Pete Alonso just takes the simple out there at first base. If he just walks it over, gets that first out, gives Soto a pathway to getting out of that inning instead of it being 1st and second. And this has been something that has happened way too often with the Mets infield lately, looking to get the lead runner. And I appreciate that. Obviously, that can be huge in any given game, but way too often lately, at least from what I'm seeing on TV, and it could be different from what they are seeing on the field, they are taking too many risks trying to get the lead runners on slow bouncing balls or ones in the hole, and it has cost them a couple of times over the last few weeks. So I would like the Mets to maybe be a little more conservative in those chances. Pete just totally flubs it. The ball's flying over his shoulder. Soto coming over trying to pick it up. He falls down. Just a comedy of errors there for the Mets for sure. Let's see. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. NL East race been over. Don't know why Mets fans thought sweeping the Phillies meant the NL East race was still up for grabs. Hey, this game doesn't make me think that the Mets are out of that NL East race. I said it yesterday. The race is back on. The Mets have the tiebreaker. They have 4 games with Philly. Who's to say the Mets don't win out this weekend and the Phillies don't lose the rest of this weekend to Atlanta? And then all of a sudden, the Mets are only 2 games behind them in the standings, still with 4 in hand to play against them and the tiebreaker. So this game, I am not going to sit here and say the Mets lost, the Phillies won. Now the NL East is over after they just gained 3 games on them and punked them. Okay, so I'm not ready to say that, but the Mets do have to get back on the horse starting tomorrow and take care of business these next 3 games against Miami. Absolutely. Every Mets pitcher not named McClain or Diaz sucks. And what a just difference it is watching Nolan McClain pitch yesterday in the zone, challenging hitters, quick innings, low pitch count compared to what a drag it is to watch Clay Holmes. And I'm going to touch on him right after I finish here with the chat, but huge difference, Absol. Earl D. Hey, Tony and Mets Nation. It was an ugly one for sure. The game was putting me to sleep for a while. The energy was non-existent. We have to sweep the rest of these games. 100% have to sweep the rest of these games. This is what a lot of us were fearful of. Would this be a letdown game after the energy and the emotions of coming off a 3-game sweep of the Phillies? And that is exactly how it looked. But the Marlins, they weren't letting anybody down, man. They took it to the Mets today. Earl, sorry, I accidentally hit send before it finished. Fat thumbs. I got the same problem, man. Absolutely. If anyone is also sick and tired of Lindor's walk-up song, so tired of watching these fans dancing to the song every time. Yeah, I know. He mixed in Ain't No Mountain High enough for a little while there in the middle of this season, but I've only really heard My Girl for a while, but I'm kind of with you, Ab, so it is definitely getting a little stale. I agree. Robert Fox, why are we acting like the Marlins should be guaranteed 3 out of 4 wins? Would we say the same about Arizona or St. Louis? Because they have only 3 more wins than Miami. The Marlins are not a horrible team. They're not. They're not a horrible team. Don't get me wrong. And I am not saying by any means the Mets are astronomically better and this should be a guaranteed 3 out of 4 series. But what I am saying is if the Mets do have any hopes of competing for the National League East title still, they need to win these next 3 games. They need to win 3 out of 4 against the team that is below them in the standings. And I know the Marlins are playing a lot better in the second half, and they were even really close to the Mets in the standings for a while there. But if you want to win this division, this is a series you have to win 3 out of 4. So not a guaranteed series, but if you want to be a championship team, hang that first division banner in a decade, then you better go take care of business against them. So Red Bear Fox, the bullpen was not to blame today. Today was all on the defense. The defense was atrocious. I mean, first coming from Clay Holmes, and which, by the way, I am petitioning that this should be a rule change in baseball as far as scoring. If the pitcher makes the error, charge those as earned runs to their ERA, because you only have 2 runs charged to Clay Holmes in today's outing, but it was actually, of course, 4 because he gives up that, or he's the one that drops that ball on the feed from Alonso. You saw Pete throw that ball a little bit harder directly to the base than he normally does. That lollipop throw that has made us all lose our breath so many times. And I think it caught Holmes off balance and just unexpectedly, but you've got to catch that ball. And not only that, Clay Holmes, you need to have the presence of mind to go jump on that ball. Did he forget that there were runners on base and that the Marlins are a scrappy little bunch that are going to try to take every extra 90 feet that they can? Because that's exactly what happened. Just an ugly sequence of events from Clay Holmes for sure. And I guess a little bit from Pete Alonso, if you want to talk about his throw there. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Red Bear trip our hats to the Phillies on this NL East. We lost it on our skid. It's not over, guys. It's not over. D-Rails, hey, Tony, can't take this no more. Guys, we just had the 3-game sweep of the Phillies. Come on now. All the good vibes are not bad. And you guys know I am an overreactor. You know I get very emotional about this team. So if I am being pretty even keel about this one, you guys should be too. The Mets need to bounce back, but for one night, it was bad. Let's see what happens from here. You might get a very different Tony in the next couple post games. Let's see. Ray, my man, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you in here. Let's see. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. We need to prepare for our wild card tickets. I mean, maybe, but guess what? That worked out pretty well for the Mets last year when they won the wild card, right? So, hey, let's just see. There's still a lot of time left. Not a lot, but enough time. Red Bear Fox, do we want the Mets to win the division? Do we want this offense to get a week off before the first playoff round? Well, they probably won't get the week off because they are not going to have one of the top 2 division records more than likely. I mean, the Brewers are clearly going to have the best record coming out of the Central. I still believe the Dodgers are going to get hot here for the final couple of weeks and end up having the second best record in the National League. So the Mets are probably still going to play in the wild card round, whether they're division winners or not. So I don't think that week off is happening. Again, you'd have to have one of the top 2 records in the National League. I don't think that is going to be the case for the Mets. But Ray says, Tony, you said they are astronomically better than the Marlins. Your words. Agreed, Tony. Well, did I say they're astronomically better than the Marlins? Who? The Mets? I don't think I said that. Did I? If I did, well, they should be at least based on their payroll and everything, but they have not been playing that way. So a little bit putting my foot in my mouth here for sure. If I said that, then, maybe I shouldn't have, but I do believe the Mets should be playing a better brand of baseball against the Marlins. So faux pas by me. I'll take it. Trying to fill an hour of time here. Sometimes I say things I don't even realize it, but appreciate you catching that, Ray. Absol says, Reds got the Cardinals this week. Depending on the way these Mets play, these Reds can easily catch up to this week. All right, guys, come on now. Come on. We just gained 3 games on the Reds. We were up 4.5. I don't think the Reds were in action today. The Cardinals, we just said, are only a few games better than the Marlins. So what are we so worried about the Reds going on a big tear against St. Louis? I mean, again, at the end of the day, guys, the Mets control their own destiny. If they take care of business and do what they should against the Marlins, then we got nothing to worry about. But again, this is not the game to just declare them dead again after they just dominated the Phillies and gained 3 games in the standings. I know it's frustrating that we lost one back to them tonight, but had the Phillies not won today, I don't think there would be as much of an overreaction. But because they had a historic night from Kyle Schwarber, where they almost put 20 runs up on the board and gained one of those games back on us in the division, I can understand why a lot of us are feeling this way. And to a degree, I do feel the same way, and I agree with a lot of you. But the Mets could just go right back out there tomorrow, get a great start from Jonah Tong. You know the energy is going to be great at Citi Field tomorrow. Hopefully the defense actually shows up this time, and hopefully there's not some leaking oil from other parts of this team. But frustrating game, I will grant you that for sure. Let me finish up, and then actually we're going to go and take a look at, I think it's this one. Ooh, yeah, look at that. First try. I always get it mixed up. But back to the chat really quick. Jose Lopez Moya, I guess for the Mets to look and play great, they should play the Phils more often. I mean, dude, I don't get it. I just don't get it because the Phillies are a better team than the Marlins, right? But the Mets don't seem to play well against the Marlins. They have no problems against the Phillies. Then, meanwhile, you got the Braves who can beat the snot out of the Mets all year long, but can't beat the Marlins and got punked by the Phillies tonight. I just can't make any sense of any of the National League East inter matchups. It's so bizarre. Danny Caps, sup, Ray? Yeah, shitty game for sure. Danny Caps, my guy, appreciate you. Ray, I gotta admit, I said it. I'm sorry. Let's see. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire says Mets play the Marlins in a 4-game series to end the season. That is going to be nightmare fuel. That is going to be 2007, 2008 vibes all over again. Obviously, both of those coming at Shea Stadium, but my goodness, I do not want there to be any playoff hopes on the line for that final 4-game series down in Miami. I will not be able to breathe the entire weekend. I can't do it. I will be flashed back to 7th and 8th grade. I can't have that. So the Mets hopefully will have already cemented whatever their playoff spot is before that series, because that will be just absolutely brutal to have to endure. See, Ray says, Tony, I didn't expect to sweep the series. I expect to win the series. I feel the same way. And just because they lose in the fashion they did today, obviously, we're all a little upset about it. So I think that's really what it comes down to. I'm hoping the Mets will win the next 3. It's obviously hard to win 3 in a row against the same team. Hopefully, they get some energy from Tong and a good start, good debut for him tomorrow. And we'll see what transpires Saturday and Sunday. But here's the thing, guys. I said it before, and now I'm going to go a little more in detail before I start looking at some of the stuff from the Mets on SMY. I can't watch Clay Holmes be a starting pitcher anymore. And nothing tells me that more than when we go from the start that we got from Nolan McLean yesterday compared to what we saw from Clay Holmes today. Holmes is laboring to just get through 4 innings these days. He is all over the place. Hitters have figured him out. The book is out on Clay Holmes. He flutters a bunch of his breaking balls around the strike zone. Hitters are able to lay off of that now because they know what's coming. Because when he's in the zone, he's getting hit and he's getting hit hard. So now they're laying off all that junk that is just outside the zone. They're not swinging at those pitches like they were the first few months. And now he's getting hit in the zone. And I think he's a little afraid. I feel like it all kind of began in that start against Baltimore back in July, because ever since then, Clay Holmes has been a walk machine. And when he is actually throwing strikes in the zone, they are pummeling him. And I just think it's time the Mets finally realize, hey, this wasn't a total failure trying to convert Holmes to a starter. He made it to September, and he was okay for a good portion of it. Not all pretty, but I think the Mets would benefit from putting Holmes into the bullpen and giving Brandon Sproat his shot, because I just don't think he has the makings of a varsity athlete as a starter at this point. It was a good start. If you got that Sopranos reference, then good for you. It was a really nice first year as he's trying to convert to a starter, but I think it's time the Mets realize what's best, not only for Clay Holmes, but for them as a team as well, and transition him back to the bullpen now for the final month of the season. What do you guys think? Would you put Holmes back into the pen? I personally think that's the move. I think it benefits this team so much in so many different ways, but just my opinion. You guys sound off in the chat. Let me know how you guys are feeling. Let me go back to the chat. Danny Caps, Miami didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. Sloppy baseball. I will credit the Marlins, though, with being uber aggressive. Number 1, putting the ball in play a ton, just putting wood on the ball. Number 2, running manic on the Mets, forcing them to make plays. I mean, this was shades of the 2015 World Series against the Royals, where they were making the Mets have to make the throws, and guess what? The Mets were not making those throws. Okay, so it was just an ugly one, man. It was just a really bad game. So I give credit to the Marlins, but the Mets definitely beat themselves in this one. Red Bear Fox says Schwarber was like 0 for 13 against the Mets. Yeah, he came into that series against the Braves about as cold as you could be, and then launches 4 home runs and puts himself in Major League history record books. Like, I just, it's insane, man. The Braves just laid down for the Phillies in this opening game. Hopefully they'll be able to do a little bit better and help us out a little bit over this weekend. But let's see what Clay Holmes has to say here after a not so great performance from him. They take him out after 5, try to maybe end on a positive note. But let's see what Holmes had to say.
Well, regardless, it's frustrating whether you win or lose prior, because every game matters. Whether it's now,
part of the year, or
previous in the season. I mean,
for anybody,
regardless at any point, it's frustrating for sure. But good thing is, we got
overall feel good.
Learn from it, flush it, and
5-day today,
and full speed ahead.
Does reaching the 30 homer mark mean anything special to you?
As the game went on, I thought
it's something that obviously that's a
I mean, of course he's going to say he feels good, right? Like, what's he going to say? I don't feel good. I feel like my arm is dead. That's not going to be the case. He's a competitor, so I respect it. But we are watching it, and he does not look good. He is damaging this team from a sense of he's not giving them a great shot to win the games that he is actually starting, and then he's taxing the bullpen by having to jump into it so early tonight, being the 6th inning, and it looked like the train was going to go off the rails way earlier than that. If not, he's fortunate to have a decent 4th and 5th inning and make it through 5. But this has just been the case way too often for Clay Holmes lately, guys. So I am hoping that the Mets are going to really consider putting him in the pen. But who knows? I mean, you see this right here. Of course, that's actually not. That's Gregory Soto. But I thought it was Huascar Brazoban. Brazoban getting looked at for an oblique injury. So potential for an opening in the Mets bullpen if they want to transition Holmes back into it. I personally think that's the move, but we'll see if that is the case or not. Let's see what Mendy had to say. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about this other than we kind of sucked today defensively, but here's Mendy.
A really crisp few days.
When I take food out of my Bosch refrigerator.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't execute. We didn't play a clean game.
And that makes me feel.
And they made us pay for it. We didn't do the little things. Fundamentally, some routine plays there gave them extra bases.
Yeah, I mean, just not good enough. Just not good enough. And I know a lot of people were blaming Mendy for this loss. Why, I don't know. Maybe because of the way he used the bullpen. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the error from Pete, if you don't have the error from Clay Holmes, if you don't have the error from Nimmo, look, that run was probably going to score regardless. At least one. It would have set up bases loaded with nobody out there against Soto in the 7th inning. But sloppy defense led to this loss. So I'm sorry, but there's nothing to blame or pin on Mendoza for this one. But just not good enough. Just not good enough. Mendy knows it. We know it as fans, and it's very frustrating, and hopefully the Mets are going to turn it around and turn it around fast, because there's really no room for error. I mean, this is one game, and they can easily bounce back here the rest of this weekend against the Marlins, but there is really no room for error if you want to compete for this division title. So it's a tough loss. Let me go back to the chat over here. Jose Lopez Moya says, I just can't stand the Clay Holmes experiment. The guy runs out of gas by the 4th inning. Send him back to the bullpen. Please, enough is enough. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And I've said this for nearly a month now about Clay Holmes. It is time to put him back in the pen. He is killing them on both fronts, in the games he's pitching and for the next day's bullpen usage. They have to consider doing it. And like I said, with Huascar Brazoban going to get his oblique looked at, then this might be the perfect opportunity to drop Holmes right back into that bullpen. See what you got in Brandon Sproat for a start. You could even let him continue working as a long man in Brazoban's role and potentially be the piggyback guy off of Brandon Sproat. Don't know if that's the plan. Doesn't seem like it. Feels like it would have happened by now already. But Mark said, what's wrong with my audio? Oh no, is there something wrong with the audio, guys? I hope not. Let me know. Tony, you have multiple audio streams playing. Oh no, I'm sorry, guys. That's why so many people have left the stream. I have the Mets game on right here. This was the culprit. OxyClean, guys. I am so sorry. That is why everybody left the stream. Oh, man, I'm so bad at this week, guys. I am struggling. Okay, give me a thumbs up. Does this sound better? Please let me know. I didn't realize because I had the Mets game on the computer and forgot to turn it off. My goodness. Not great. Not great. But Nebraska just scored a touchdown, so that's cool. We'll take that, I guess. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry about that. I kind of messed up the stream here. Hopefully you guys are still tuned in. But too many sounds going on at once, Tony. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I should have looked at the chat sooner. That's my freaking bad. Anyway, thank you, boys. Appreciate it. Silly Mazzilli 86. I haven't seen you here before, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. I love the username. Guys, sound off in the chat. How you feeling about the Mets right now? For me, this is not one that is going to deter me from still believing they can win the division. It's an ugly game, but I don't think it's over by any means. It sucks that the Phillies have a historic day. Tony and the Mets making errors today. I've been watching the Mets too much, Mark. That was brutal. I'm sorry. I don't have my stupid earphones right now, so I can't hear everything going on the computer here. It's just been a tough first week back here in the studio, so I apologize. But Jose Lopez Moya says, I hope the Mets defense doesn't screw up Tong's debut. I don't think that'll be the case. I think that defense had a bad one. I hope they got it all out of their system here tonight, but I don't think that is going to be something that we see on a regular basis, with Pete making that ridiculous error and with Clay Holmes just totally botching that perfect throw from Pete Alonso. I don't know, but let's go ahead and listen to Pete, and this should be the only audio source that you're hearing now.
Happens on a night like this where there are just so many errors, mistakes made.
Unfortunately, it's a part of the game, and yeah, I mean, game got away from us there. I mean, the mistakes.
Pete, what is
we're
going on with
capitalized
that
on,
hair, my
and
guy?
no matter who you play,
Gotta do something
at
about
this
that,
level,
Pete.
teams are gonna take advantage
Not that
of
I'm
those.
one to
and,
talk, but
we gave the Marlins an opportunity, and they capitalized on every opportunity we gave them.
Pete, after
Yeah, it was not good, Pete. It was not good. It was really rough. They gave them a lot of opportunities. The Marlins capitalized on all of them 100%. Danny Caps, since June 13th, the Mets now have 15 losses when scoring 4+ runs, most in MLB. That is not great. And a part of that is because of the pitching. I would say the most part, it's been the pitching. Obviously, the starters were horrific there for, it seemed like, almost 2 full months. This is like the 10th time they've put Taylor Swift on the screen on this game tonight. I am like ready to puke. This is getting ridiculous now. But not a great performance from the pitching there for the last 2 months or so, and that is why they have had so many of those losses despite scoring 4+ runs since June 13th. Thank you for bringing that up there, Danny Caps. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm sorry we definitely had a mistake there in the stream. That was rough. Definitely apologize for that, but it's not a great night for the Mets, obviously. But again, I don't think the division is over. I think they still got a shot if they can get back on track beginning tomorrow in Jonah Tong's debut and through the rest of this weekend. Silly Mazzilli, it looks like the hair on a Michael Myers mask. It's not great. And I love Pete, but it might just be time, man. Just pull out the razor, bro. I don't know. It's not a great look, Pete, but you know what? We love him no matter what. He could be bald. I wouldn't care. That'd be fine by me. Let's go take a look at tomorrow's game. And, of course, we got to look at this ugly mug of Kyle Schwarber after his historic night. But let's preview tomorrow's game, which is going to be a fun one, guys. It's a Friday, and we get to watch the debut of hopefully what will be a stalwart in the Mets rotation for many, many years to come, and that being Jonah Tong. We are stoked to see him. He has ascended through the Mets minor league system in just a short year and a half. Started the year, I believe, in Double-A, went to Triple-A, only made 2 starts, 11+ innings of scoreless ball, and now ready to take the big league mound at Citi Field. Best ERA among qualified pitchers in the minor leagues this year across all levels. Most strikeouts among all pitchers across all levels. This dude looks like the real deal, even though he only looks like he's 13 years old. But I don't care how my pitchers or players look. Maybe a little bit with Pete's hair. But if they can shove the way that we are expecting this guy to, it should be really fun. What did he do down in Double-A this year? Had a 1.59 ERA over 20 starts, 102 innings, and struck out 162 batters. And all he did was continue to dominate in Triple-A. 11 2/3 scoreless ball over 2 starts, including 17 strikeouts. Also, the lowest average against among all qualified pitchers across all levels of minor league baseball this season. This dude just looks different. I mean, 22 years old. This is going to be so freaking exciting. Guys, give me a prediction for Tong's final line in his MLB debut. I'm going to say 5 innings, 1 run. I think they're going to keep him on a little bit of a shorter leash, not let him get too deep, maybe even kind of end him on a positive note. So maybe the 5th inning is where I think maybe the Marlins eke out 1 run. We know they pitch to a lot of contact. Hit for a lot of contact, so I could see maybe 1 run coming in, but I think it's going to be a really nice debut for Jonah Tong, and hopefully the defense shows up and the Mets pitch well enough. Ray says, Tony, have a good night. Say hello to Mrs. Metra. Looking forward to Tong's debut. Yes, absolutely, I am too. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. Sorry for that miscue earlier. And meanwhile, the Mets will be taking on, who is this guy? Yuri Perez. Okay, big boy, 6'8", 22-year-old, and having a pretty solid season for the Marlins so far. 6-3, 3.44 ERA over 14 starts in 70 2/3 innings. Not a huge strikeout guy, 70, but wow, that whip is pretty impressive, 0.98. So doesn't give up a ton of hits or walks. So this is his 2nd season. He pitched in 23, and then I guess there was an injury in between. Did not pitch last year, but only 22 years old, man. You never feel more old than when you look at the dates, the birth dates of these young players nowadays. 2003. This guy was born, and he is in the big leagues. What a horse. 6'8", my goodness. So hopefully the Mets will be able to pull out another win tomorrow. Obviously didn't do that tonight, but hopefully the Mets will get back on track on Tong's MLB debut. I am looking forward to it very much. Guys, I apologize for that miscue earlier. That was just a rookie mistake. Promise it won't happen again. Like you guys said, though, maybe I've been watching a little bit too much of the Mets, and I'm making errors just like they are. But appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll leave you with this. It's a tough loss. It's tough on the optics of the Phillies getting such a ridiculous win with 4 home runs from Kyle Schwarber, where now the Mets lose a game in the standings to Philadelphia, but this team is still in the division race. But they need to take care of business against the Marlins, and then let's see what happens. So, might be singing a different tune depending on how tomorrow and the rest of this weekend goes. But this one day, this one Thursday, does not change the fact that the Mets have made significant ground on the Phillies and shored up their hopes of winning at the very least one of the National League wildcard spots here for 2025. So, guys, appreciate it. Joe says, let Mookie handle the audio. That's a great idea. He'd be just using his paws everywhere. He'd probably do a better job than I would, Joe. But guys, let me thank you all. Joe, Ray, Jose Lopez Moya, Silly Mazzilli, Danny Caps. Thank you to Mark. Thank you to, I just gave up on even trying to say your last name at this point, Mark. It's just too much. Thank you to Absol. Thank you to D-Rails. Thank you to, let's see, who else do we got in here? Red Bear Fox, my man, OG. Thank you to Nobody Beats Town Fair Tire Nobody. Thank you to D Rails. I already got you. Thank you to, who else do we got in here? Earl D. Thank you to Madeleine Schmidt. And I already got you, Absol. So guys, appreciate you so much. I know it's been a shorter stream these last 2 days, but really, really appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back with another post-game stream after Jonah Tong's debut tomorrow. So if you've not already left this video a like, go ahead, do that right now. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already for daily Mets content, and we will see you tomorrow after hopefully a great MLB debut for Jonah Tong. Until then, though, guys, I'm Tony Metro. Stay true.